thanks for turning out in such great numbers. It's really good to see the room really full and overflowing onto the stairs. It's good to see that the Green Surge has reached Altrincham. So I thought I'd say a little bit first about my route to being here today. As a teenager growing up in Ireland, I remember encountering the idea of green politics and hearing that in Germany and other European countries there was this other way of doing things, and coming across the inspirational character of Petra Kelly. And at that time, when the ozone layer problem was just being discovered and climate change was just beginning to be heard about, I thought it was kind of obvious that actually this is what would happen to politics in the future, and that these would be the main issues that would be dominating politics in the 21st century. And it hasn't quite happened. And although I think a lot of voters are actually really concerned about that sort of thing, the big traditional parties haven't actually adapted, and they seem to be still peddling the same agenda. So I found myself at the 2010 elections looking at the three candidates that were offered to me and not wanting to vote for any of them. And I thought, well, I really want to vote for the Green Party, but there isn't a candidate. And one of the reasons we're here today is because we don't want anyone in Trafford to say that this year. So I decided I would join the Green Party, and then although I couldn't vote, at least I would be supporting them in Brighton and in other places where they would have candidates. So I was inspired by the combination of social and environmental concerns that they offered, and I wasn't alone, because both votes and enthusiasm for the Green Party and members are really increasing. I read something recently about the US Green politician Ralph Nader, and when he was growing up in the United States, he said to his father that when he grew up he thought it would be really good if there was a third political party, because of course they have a two-party system. And his father said, actually, I'd be happy if there was a second one. And I think here the numbers are different, but the principle is the same. And for a long time we've had this three-party system, and it's not enough. There's increasingly little difference between the parties, and we need a real alternative. So this year the Green Party are aiming to stand candidates in at least 75% of constituencies across the country. This is going to give an unprecedented number of people the chance to vote Green and to vote for a party that they believe in. If you vote Green this time round, you're going to be part of a movement that's across the country, and actually across quite a lot of the world, that's asking for a real change in the way our society is run. Over 1 million people voted Green this year in the recent elections, and that was just the beginning of what's been called the Green Surge. So since then our membership has absolutely soared. And once we stand up in those sort of numbers, we actually can't be ignored anymore and sidelined. And once we reach a critical mass, the old arguments against voting Green don't work anymore. For years people have actually believed in our policies, but when they came to it they were hesitant to put the X in the box. Now sometimes there just wasn't a box to put the X in. That's what happened to me in 2010. And again, part of why we're here today is to make sure that that doesn't happen in Trafford. But often it was because they felt the need to vote tactically. And I read Natalie's article this week saying that actually she's been meeting people across the country saying that they voted tactically for years, that they voted in parties they didn't really believe in because they felt the need to vote tactically. And now that we have this Green Surge and a huge number of people voting Green, that argument doesn't work anymore, and people are starting to change, and people are saying, I've been voting tactically for years, but it's going to change, not anymore. So I think we're starting to see the emergence of five-party politics in this country, and the old rules don't seem to apply anymore. So I think this year is going to see a real change. People are starting to see that by voting Green they can actually make a difference. And today a petition has been handed to the BBC with 260,000 people have signed, asking for Natalie Bennett to be in the debates alongside the other leaders. It's actually one of the top 10 petitions of all time on change.org, and you know the sort of numbers that they get. And across the political spectrum people have signed this, and people have joined in with this argument because people can see that it's not fair, and that the Green Party is one of the serious political contenders in this country. So by supporting Trafford Green Party today, you're sending out a signal to the media, to the other parties, to everybody involved, that our agenda can't be ignored anymore.